Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious.
Wait a minute.
How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome to my channel. Boy, oh boy, probably the most exciting banner we have ever had on Ancients. Let's be honest. I know we say things like that a lot, but it's not disingenuous. They keep one-upping themselves. This is the Praetus banner, man. This is what everyone has been waiting for. It is a 15x on the single best hero in the entire game, right? It really is. This is going to be the best chance you ever have to get him, since he's the only Lord on rate up, not like when we had Ymeric and Valderon. There's no other Lord rated up that is suppressing his rate. So if you do hit Legendary Lord, you should have about a 38 to 40% chance that that Lord will be Praetus, aka the single best hero in the entire game. And then on the banner with him, it's not some slouch, it's not Giselle, it's Jira, who I think at worst is like the 4th best Arbiter in the game. At best could be the 2nd right after Praetus. I mean, her kit is ridiculous. We have to break all this thing down and answer that question, should you summon? There actually is a question because it was confirmed by the Leak Boys today. Shout out to Rakanshi, that Debbie, aka Ingrid will be her real name, the new Ancient exclusive Watcher Lord, and also an Arbiter, which is crazy. She should be coming next month already. So some people, if they're super speculative, if they like to gamble and think she actually could be better than Praetus, might want to wait. So we have to get into all of that. This is very exciting. You can see I look jovial. I'm not at my normal office. I apologize for the shoddy virtual green screen behind me. I'm doing my absolute best, guys. We have to do this should you summon. Praetus, Jira, the whole kit and caboodle. Let's get into it. But first, guys, if you are once again looking to get your pay to win on and do a little spending for the final anniversary events this weekend, it's probably best to save some money and get some free bonus rewards while you do so. This video is sponsored by Smile1, the official third-party payment platform for Watcher of Realms. They offer long-term 10% discounts on all W Gold purchases, and on top of that, in anticipation of the anniversary, they are running a special top-up event from July 12th to July 21st. These Smile1 deals are currently only available in the following regions: Russia, the United States, the EU, Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, Korea, and Hong Kong. As always, guys, I am not telling you to spend. What I am saying is, if you are already planning to do so, use my link to save money with discounted rates and get bonus top-up rewards for free. And of course, by using my link, you will be supporting me while doing so. So, be sure to use my exclusive link in the description of this video and the top pinned comment. Thank you, Smile1, for sponsoring this video.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
So to kick it off, I actually think we do need to talk about who you might be saving for, and that is Debbie, aka Ingrid. If you do not know, Destined and I made 2 different videos covering her extensively, and in those videos she did not yet have a name, so I suggested Debbie. Destined loved it. Here we are. However, we now know her name actually is Ingrid, but until she's a little closer, let's just keep calling her Debbie. So there's our girl. I'm not going to do a kit breakdown. Go check out those videos. If you want to see all the unreleased heroes, check out my video. If you want to go extra deep on Debbie specifically, check out Destined. If you just want to be an absolute homie, check out both. There you go. The long of the short, she is like a dual morphing type. I'm getting like a sun and a moon vibe. 2 different ways to use her kind of hero. Truly unique, truly beautiful, truly so cool. She has got a solar form, and in the solar form, she's kind of like a little AoE freak. It is totally nuts. And then she's got a stellar form, and in that, she is a single target goddess, almost or maybe at the level of a Praetus. I don't think she will be at the level of a Praetus, and I do want to already get into those big caveats. Could she be a contender for best here in the game? Yes. Could she be better than Praetus? I don't know, maybe. Could she also be way worse? Yeah. I mean, no one's ever tested her. Her card and her kit and everything only just appeared on test server in the gallery. She's not yet on our accounts. Until we can test her and see exactly in real life gameplay how strong she really is, we can't really compare her to someone that's very much a bird in the hand, and that is Pratus. We know Pratus is a freaking freak of a god, the most OP hero in any game I've ever played like this. Debbie could maybe be that, but we don't know. It's totally speculative. Pratus is a freak. He's a total freak. It's about time we talk about him instead of Debbie. If you do want to save, to be honest, I kind of do, but I'm just a little anti-Praetus. Go watch Ronaldo's video on being a meta slave. Not to say Debbie couldn't be the new meta and I won't be that slave. I don't know. Everyone and their mom wants a Praetus. Let this guy be different, all right? I already have a great account. I don't need to push content faster. I don't mind skipping Praetus. That being said, I'm still going on this banner for Jira, because Jira also is just so amazing. I mean, this banner, guys, mwah, chef's kisses left and right. Throw them to your mom. Throw them to your grandma. Everybody deserves them. Let's start with Praetus, though. I went on and on about Debbie. Let's actually talk about Praetus, the man of the hour. Does he deserve the hype? Long answer, yes. Short answer, yes, he really does. He is, as fat as he is brilliant. Actually, that's not true. If he was as fat as he was brilliant, he wouldn't fit on the screen, because he's that brilliant. This guy is truly remarkable. I'm going to do a rapid kit breakdown, and when I say rapid, I mean I'm going to go as fast as I can go. This kit is in depth. I don't want to get into too crazy detail. I think it kind of explains itself, or hopefully I can help with that. And also, next week, I'm doing what I call a super guide or an ultimate guide, where I'm not just going to break down Praetus, I'm not just going to show off Praetus, but I'm going to take him into content after content after content, really showing piece by piece why he's so amazing. I've only ever done a guide like that twice before, first for Boreas and then for Hotsit. It takes a crazy hero to deserve it, and that was pre-nerf Boreas. That's why I did that. Praetus does deserve that. It's going to be an enormous undertaking, so I hope you're looking forward to it. Let's get into a quick kit breakdown right about now. So before we start with the talent and the basic and the ultimate and all those skills, with Praetus, we have to start with his Lord skill. His Lord skill is unlike any other skill in this entire game, including all the other Lord skills. This skill over here is going to be Supreme Divinity 3. It's kind of funny they call it this, because in other factions they'll have like whatever the name of the skill is, 1 and then 2 and then 3, and like the 1 corresponds to the rare hero, and then the 2 for the epic, the 3 for the legendary, but he's the only one. Arbiters are pretty darn unique. I'll go to the gallery really quickly, in that they only have one legendary hero. He's entirely ancient exclusive. He's super duper rare, and there's not even an epic hero. So if we go down to Arbiters, you'll see that very much. There's Praetus. He is the Lord all by himself. So back to Praetus over here. This Lord skill, it really stands alone. Increases faction team members' basic attributes by 15%. Completely par for the course. True of every single legendary Lord in this game. But then it gets wacky. Gains 1 divinity stack every 15 seconds with a cap of 3. What are these? Well, when you are in the battle, Praetus does something no one else in the game does. He gets his own button. Right over here on like the right side of your screen, on your game screen when you are playing, you get this special like Arbiter button that is the Praetus button. And that will fill up once, twice, 3 times depending on how long you let it wait. When it's at 3 times, it's at the max 3 stacks of divinity, and then you get these corresponding effects. So you can consume all the divinity to cast one of the following versions of Lightning of Truth. Ideally, in almost all situations, you want to let it go up to 3 stacks, because that's when it goes absolutely ballistic. At 1 stack, you get to do Verdict of Truth 1. This is pretty cool. For every 1 faction ally present, so this is every Arbiter, including Praetus, that you bring, you're going to deal true damage equal to 100% of the Lord's attack to random enemies 2 times. And it is true damage. So Praetus, on top of everything, being the best endgame unit in the game, he really, really is. He almost certainly is also the best progression unit in the game, because he's a freak, his damage is crazy, but also his damage is true damage. So until very, very later on, when you're min-maxing things, you don't have to worry about crit. Just get that attack to the moon, and by the way, if we go to hero stats, you'll see he has the highest single base attack of any mage in the entire game. I will say, Debbie will take that crown from him when she arrives. When Ingrid arrives, she'll be at like 6,100, but he's got the highest base attack of any mage, and all his damage, when it's true damage, is just scaling from that attack. He also has stuff in his kit to boost his attack further, but that's a story for later on. The key thing here is he's going to do true damage, 100% of the Lord's attack to 2 random enemies. The random thing is annoying, but in a lot of content you can time it out in windows when it's not so random, because there's only 1 or 2 enemies on your screen, or for boss content when there's literally only 1 boss. So if you're thinking like the Styx boss or Arbiter of Frost or Guild Boss 2, right? It's all going to go single target, 100% single target, because there's nothing random if there's only 1 target to hit. This is the baby version though. Verdict of Truth 1. Every ally present, 100% true damage random, right? 2 times. So it's 200% total. If you have a full 5 Arbiter allies, we're talking 1,000% true damage. For anyone else, that would be insanely strong. Not for Praetus, he's just too good. Verdict of Truth 2, now it's getting really saucy. He's going to deal true damage equal to 150% of the Lord's attack to random enemies 3 times, so 3 hitters. So if it's all going the same place, it's 450% per Arbiter ally, and it comes with a half-second stun. If we do some math, 450 times 5, I believe, is going to be 2,250, 2,250 true damage. Now we're getting pretty crazy. But why would you settle for Verdict of Truth 2 when we've got something called Final Verdict? This is where the freak becomes Lord of the Freaks, the Pope of all freaks. For every 1 faction ally present deals true damage equal to 200% of the Lord's attack to random enemies 4 times, and inflicting that half-a-second stun as well. That is 4 times per ally. If you run a team of 5, each one of those allies is going to lead to 200% true damage times 4. So with boss content, it is guaranteed. That's 800%. If you're rocking a full Arbiter team, you are talking 800% times 5. That is 4,000% true damage. It is completely unmatched in every aspect of this game. Hotsit, for example, at A5 with her burst, puts out about 4,000% damage. I think it's a little bit more than that. It's not true damage, it's piercing damage. She still has to deal with the mitigation of defense and things like that. Not for Praetus, dude. He completely ignores literally everything. Granted, it cannot crit, but that doesn't matter. It is mind-melting damage. It's stupid. The guy is completely broken. I hope you're getting an idea of how he works now. Every time you do consume divinity as well, we've got another cool thing. Faction team members, and this includes him, they will gain Sacred Blessing. Now, what is that? All damage plus 50%, and this includes true damage. So he puts multipliers on top of his own true damage. That is literally every Arbiter now is a 1.5x multiplier on all damage, including true damage, any kind of damage, for the next 8 seconds. By the time those 8 seconds are up, you're already halfway to your first divinity stack, because you only need 15 seconds per stack. It's just crazy. Every 45 seconds, he can just wipe out the board. If you're a little impatient, you can settle for Verdict of Truth 1 or Verdict of Truth 2. He's very, very variable. He's very strong. We still have a whole kit to break down. That is just explaining the button, the special Praetus button that happens over here. So let's go really fast now. The talent. When eliminating an enemy or casting an ultimate, increases damage, including true damage. Like I said, he increases everything, and it really helps him by 10%, and max HP by 10%. So good, stacks up to 5 times. So ideally, you want to use the ultimate and then use the Praetus button. This is also key once we actually see how his ultimate works. Let's start very quickly with the basic attack, though. Nice and simple, single target, 120% magic damage to one enemy at full skill ups. Nothing to really talk about there. The ultimate, though, Divine Truth, and the truth it is. During the ultimate, increases his attack by 30%. Remember, all that true damage coming from the Praetus button, from his Lord skill, is going to scale off of his attack. So when that is up 30% post-deployment, that is nutty strong. If there's only one enemy in range, now, okay, so if it wasn't already amazing at bosses, now he's also going to inflict 3 stacks of Radiant Erosion. This is true damage over time based on the enemy's defense. It is brilliant. If there's more than one enemy in range, it inflicts Chain of Fate and 1 stack of Radiant Erosion on up to 3 enemies in range. What is Chain of Fate? When a linked unit receives damage, the other linked units receive true damage equal to 50% of the inflicted damage. So when there's multiple enemies in range, he does kind of get a little AoE quality into his kit. If Praetus wasn't good enough already, this costs only 700, and it can last for 16 seconds. And by the way, I have to mention, that Praetus button we were talking about earlier, he does not need to be deployed on the field to use it. No, not at all. Ideally, all else equal, you do want him deployed because then he can cast his ultimate, he can get the attack boost on himself, he can do all the other cool stuff. But in a lot of situations, if you just want it easy peasy, like when I use him on takeovers for Gear Aid 3, I want to run my Pierces, I want to run my Nightmares, I kind of just have Praetus there as a Lord, just to be off the field, just as a button I can slap, doesn't count as a deployed unit, and just helps a lot with the damage. If you do get him deployed though, you can take full advantage of this freakish 700 cost ultimate Divine Truth that just takes him to a whole nother level if he wasn't at a high enough level already. Now he's got his first auto passive, Eternal Decree, summons 1 Light of Judgment. What is Light of Judgment? A summon that attacks together with its summoner. I think this should synergize with Anora. I have not tested it myself. If you guys have, let me know. For each basic attack launched by the hero, Light of Judgment also deals 30% damage to the target. The hero can have up to 5 instances of Light of Judgment, so 5 summons, 5 like sun light summons that he makes, 5 can exist at the same time. The cooldown on this, very, very cool. He will just summon these one after another till he maxes out at those 5. And the cooldown on this with skill ups is actually super low at only 10 seconds. Wild, wild, wild. The second passive now, Faithful Might. During the ultimate, basic attack deals 40% extra true damage. Right, because he wasn't dealing enough true damage before already. Yeah. Based on the hero's attack, and Light of Judgment deals 20% extra true damage. Okay, so now his summons are dealing true damage. Cool. Because he didn't have enough before. He didn't have enough. Oh, and with skill ups, that can go to 60% extra true damage from his basics and 30% extra from the summons. Got it. On top of all of that, because he's an Arbiter, of course he gets an Arena skill. And for him, it's my favorite kind of Arena skill, Cost Reduction. He is an expensive boy at 25. It's very hard to use him in Arena. But thankfully, because of this, it's only 20. And he is so worth it. For single target Arena, especially, he's a total freak. For all the arenas, he really, really works. Single target Arena, though, he is the single best hero in the game. Oh my god, this guy is nuts. The Awakenings will go very fast, and this is mostly just for Sassy. If you don't know, we're going to pull Sassy in A5 PRAETUS. Nuts stuff. Awaken 1, when basic attack deals damage to targets inflicted with Radiant Erosion, restores 3% Rage. This is amazing for Rage cycling, and it gives him a great synergy with his Arbiter allies, right? You have other great Arbiter heroes like Alistair and Pelagius that put out their own Radiant Erosion, so you can get a lot of Radiant Erosion out, and he can do a lot of Rage cycling, just making him completely OP. Plus 5% attack. This is not plus 300, it is plus 5% attack. That's important because we know all his true damage is based off of his own attack. That's very good. And on top of that, he's boosting himself further because he gets the Lord boost skill that all the Lords get at A2, or I should say all the Legendary Lords. Increases faction team members' attack by 5%. In total, it's going to be a 10% boost on his base attack. It's very, very strong. The A3 now, when the number of Light of Judgment reaches 5, increases his attack by 15%. That is post-deployment. That is crazy. An A3 PRAETUS is as game-changing as something can get, which is saying a lot because he's already so nuts. I will take this moment to make an aside. A0 PRAETUS is enough. There is no content that is good for PRAETUS where your A0 PRAETUS is not enough. The only thing would be going for like the tops of those leaderboards and codex bosses and stuff. For any normal player, just be happy with your A0. Seriously. A4, what do we have? Rage Regen Auto +1. So every second he generates one more tick of rage. A5 now, for every 15 strikes received from Light of Judgment, the target receives 200% extra true damage based on his attack. As I said, he didn't have enough true damage in his attack, so the A5, that's going to help a lot. I will say A3 PRAETUS, for you whales out there, for you Krakens, that's what I think is when you got PRAETUS basically final form. The A4, the A5, sure, they're improvements, but this A3 is completely bonkers. PRAETUS is crazy. Let's talk about JEERA. So JEERA, also an extremely complicated kit, but I'm going to go quick. We'll get this done. She has dual faction membership, not only an Arbiter, but also Northerners. She is a normal damage dealing fighter, and she has the most nuts base stats in the entire game, basically bar none. She's getting up there with the highest base attack in the game at 6326, not on the levels of like an Ardia at 7900. For all normal heroes, over 6k means wow, that's a lot of attack. But the key thing to notice here is 31,497 HP. That is significant, and that is literally the highest HP of any hero in the entire game. She's a total freak, and that HP, that large amount, is very relevant. Let's start with the talent. You didn't think that was enough, the most in the game? Well, increases HP by 30% post-deployment. Oh my god. The higher the current HP percentage, the higher the hero's vulnerability, up to 30%. Now you might be confused, what does that mean, the hero's vulnerability? Well, as her HP goes higher, she actually will place vulnerability upon herself, meaning she takes more damage. That may sound crazy, but when I explain the kit, it will start making sense. The basic attack over here, it's physical damage, 100% damage to one enemy, 120% with skill ups. Now the ultimate, things are going to start making sense. It's 900 cost, it goes down to 800 with skill ups. When it is activated, restores 75% HP immediately. So basically, she has a huge HP restore. You can time this out really effectively with her kit. During the skill effect, increases max HP by 40%, so that's on top of her giant pool of HP to begin with, and the talent base increase of 30%. Let's raise it another 40%. Oh wait, with skill ups it goes to 60%. Damage dealt is also raised by 125%. With skill ups, that goes to 175%, and her attack interval also goes up by 30%. It's kind of a self-infliction. Again, this will make sense when you see why she wants to take damage, why she wants to get hurt. The passives really make her wild. All this is going to last for 20 seconds. The effect will be permanent upon the second activation. So very similar to heroes like Araka and Abomination. Trigger the ultimate once and then twice, and then it is a permanent effect. You can just see you won't get the health restoration anymore, but permanently you will have her huge base HP pool, all the HP you built on her, the 30% boost from the talent, and the extra 60% from the skilled up ultimate. It is nuts. So what's she going to do with all that HP? Well, she's going to make it so she tanks a lot, she gets hit a lot, she lets herself get hurt a lot, and she gives the hurt right back. Let's go to the passive Divine Reprisal. Here we go. For every 3 basic attacks, the 4th basic attack will deal 150% damage. This goes up to 200%, along with defense penetrating damage equal to 100% total damage the hero has taken previously. This is why you want her taking as much damage as possible. What is defense penetrating damage? It's true damage, guys. It is going to be physical damage, but defense penetrating with no qualification means she ignores 100% of the defense. That is equivalent to true damage since she's dealing the physical damage. Does that make sense? It is physical damage, which should be impeded by defense, right? Mitigated by defense. She's penetrating all of it, so it's just straight lethal damage, and it can crit. It's insane. The accumulated damage taken will be reset once it takes effect, so it's every 4th attack. It's in between those 4 attacks. How much damage has she taken? That is going to be the cycle of this crazy defense penetrating damage, so it actually helps during the ultimate that she's putting out less hits. It slows her down. She has more time to receive more hits. They're actually, potentially, we'll see how it goes eventually, what is going on. We'll see how it happens, but I could see there being a strat to using her where you put no attack speed on her, you let her go nice and slow, and really take full advantage of those 4th basic attacks and unloading that essential true damage, the fully defense penetrating attacks. There is one qualification down here. The accumulated damage taken will not exceed 150% of the hero's max HP. This is why it's significant. You've built her with tons and tons of max HP, but literally you can. You could build her probably with up to 130,000 HP. Let's just say you built her with 100,000 just to make my math easy. You're going to increase that max HP from her talent to 130,000, and then during the ultimate, that's another 60. It's going to 190,000. So 190,000, let me do the math really quickly. 150% of that is going to be 285,000. So you can deal that much damage, defense penetrating, ignoring everything, and it can crit. You can see how strong that she's going to be, right? She's going to be so amazing. I would say at the worst, she's going to be a PvP god. At best, she'll be an entire wrecker of the game. A hero maybe like a notch below an Ardia. Who knows? Maybe that strong. Like, she's got such a unique, such a beautiful kit. The final passive here, Mark of Retribution, inflicts retribution on enemies. What is retribution? The caster receives 30% more damage from units inflicted with retribution, so another way to take more damage and then give out more damage later on. When attacking a target inflicted with retribution, deals an additional damage equal to 2% of the hero's max HP, so now she has another way of dealing damage based on her HP. All damage received from enemies not inflicted with retribution is reduced by 20%, so she's going to receive less from those. It's kind of a balancing act. Switching targets removes the retribution inflicted on the previous target. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty unique stuff is what I really would say. You can see all these will get affected by skill ups, and then because she's an arbiter, of course she has an arena mastery, increases damage in arena by 15%. She has that pretty typical cost of 17 for a fighter with just 1 tile range. I will say, if this mastery was like -4 or -5 cost, she would be so good in arena. I'm hoping they didn't do that because she's already going to be so good, but that is something I would have liked to see, like -4 cost arena mastery. That would be nice. Very quickly, let's do the awakenings. A1, dealing damage to enemies will consume 1 stack of radiant erosion on them to deal additional damage equal to 4% of the hero's max HP and inflict a stun. It's a nice stun too at a full second. Not crazy, not like a 2 or 3 second stun, but we do like it. 4% HP, you know, we're going to build her HP to the moon, and all this stuff can crit. It is nice. Is that worth the consumption of a radiant erosion? I don't know. Also, we can see from her kit, unless something comes with a later awakening, she herself does not put out radiant erosion, so you'll only really benefit from this if you're running her with other arbiters like PRAETUS or Alistair or Pelagius, that kind of thing. A2 now, plus 300 attack. You don't love to see it. I mean, she will deal some damage on her attack, but most of it's coming from the HP. Why not another, I don't know, 2,000 HP? Is that too much to ask for? 1,500, 1,200 even. I think that'd be more useful. The A3 now, once HP drops below 25%, gains a shield equal to 100% of max HP for 15 seconds. That is going to be the biggest shield you've ever seen. It can only be triggered 1 time per deployment, but you got 15 seconds of it. There's no way they're stripping that thing off really quick unless there's some crazy new enemies with crazy damage coming soon. So this should give her plenty of time to get healed back up, do all that good stuff. At A4, penetration plus 8%, quite nice. She's going to ignore another 8% defense. And then the A5, when an enemy is inflicted with retribution for more than 5 seconds, increases damage dealt to this enemy by 15%. So now she can put out even more of a pounding to the enemies she keys in on, the ones she locks in on, and places the retribution upon. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know if I'm blown away by that A5 at all. I think the coolest one's probably the A1 if you're going to run an Arbiter team, and then this A3 should be nutty. One thing I would want to know, they're talking about the damage she receives. She has the dual faction membership in Northerner. If she is shielded, so it's doing damage to the shield but not her, does that count as damage received or not? This is something I'm going to have to go and test. If you guys already know, if you're a content creator watching this or something, or someone already knows you're watching this in the future and you already pulled her, let me know in the comments. There you go, guys. I know this was a long one, but these are exceedingly complicated kits for two of the best heroes in the entire game when it comes to Praetus, the single best hero in the game. Let's head out now and let me give my final assessment. Should you summon? Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, get in the comments, share it with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.